Okay. Hi, everybody. And this is
I
Spoken World Online, week number 45. That's impressive. My piece today is called Bantam Place. Last night, we attended a gallery opening in North Beach for an 83-year-old poet and postal mail artist named Somebody Byron Something. A retrospective of his work, deep with the richness of artistic and literary traditions of 20th century psychedelic mind maps, and to hell with the government space controllers. I was well imbibed, fortified early in the afternoon by a good hunk of the dwindling sheet of paper from M&M, and then totally blown out by some great homegrown Tia smoked in a studio at the Art Institute, in one of those poorly ventilated studios, the paint thinner fumes giving me additional weird rushes. I was high. Lots of interesting visual effects and accelerated thought processes and extreme paranoia. Looking out for cars as I crossed Columbus Avenue, Nighthawk was in her usual drug-free state of extra art awareness. Lots of people at the gallery from the SF art and literary worlds. It was a high and wild scene that spilled out of the little basement gallery into Bantam Place between Union and Green. People drinking and laughing and lounging about in the alley. Beatnik and North Beach poets read specially written works in homage to Somebody Byron Something. The crowd swelled, and I was outside in the alley listening in. Jack Michelin began to read in his brash, assured voice, and I heard another gruff and familiar voice directly behind me shout out, "The asshole is reading his poem." Turning around, Gregory Corso was standing there holding a tall can of Budweiser in a crumpled paper bag. He stared at me through his bitter eyes and said, "Do you know what they did to me? They took away my son." I said, "I'm sorry that happened to you." He said, "Bah," took a long pull from his beer and wheeled off across the alley. Jack Michelin kept barking his verse from deep in the gallery well. Noise and mayhem and drinking and smoking continued into the night. The party subsided as the fog rolled in and the crowd dissipated away in the strands of fog. When we got home, Nighthawk said she thought it strange that the Beat era was 30 years before, and these people were still here. She said she did not see any sense of contemporary art in San Francisco by our generation, and the city was past its peak as a creative center. Whatever the Beats may have produced in their time, she proclaimed, now they are just a bunch of drunks hanging out in alleys. I disagreed, saying that art remains timeless and that people often did their best work in their later years, work done with the wisdom of experience rather than the idealistic exuberance of youth. Nighthawk said I did not understand what she meant and that I was more interested in the past than she was, more interested in history and the continuum of art and literature. She said she could not feel any sense of contemporary creativity in the city and railed, "The Art Institute is full of 18-year-old rich kids, not the great artists of the 40s and 50s. Where could you go and find the cutting edge now? To LA? To New York? I said, I did not think that geography was that important anymore. That we were truly living in a global society with satellites, computers, and high speed transportation, bringing everything closer together at ever accelerating rates. Maybe that lack of a unified school of art resulted from many different visions and too much information coming together all at once, changing so fast that nobody could get a fix on what the current scene might be because it was endless scenes. The center of the art world being wherever you do your work and those friends who help you along the way. Nothing to be done but produce your own visions and present them as accurately and honestly as you can. Footnote, just read the above to Nighthawk. She got pissed off and said I totally misrepresented just about everything, and her passing observations were so obvious that they did not need to be written down. She said I am interpreting her ideas through my own quirky filters and am basically full of shit. Last time I show her my fuzzy-headed subjective musings, but at least my writing elicited an emotional response. Thanks, everybody.